hosted by Matt Riches. $1 trillion. Watch the market unfold. $1 trillion. Turning data to gold. $1 trillion. Watch the market unfold. $1 trillion. Turning data to gold. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're tuning in from around the globe. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Welcome to the $1 Trillion Tickers broadcast. I'm your host, Matt Riches. Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, June 16th, 2026. Let's check out Forex Factory. No red or orange folders. The Fear and Greed Index is at 41. We're getting closer to neutral. That's a major improvement from last week's fear levels. The market is still reacting to reported U.S Iran peace framework that's going to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Oil is still under pressure. The VIX is around 1614. Bitcoin is holding around 66K. Ethereum is back around 1800. And SpaceX is still one of the biggest stories in the market after another massive move yesterday. So today's question is simple. Can buyers keep control after the risk on gap up? Or do we fade back into the gap after the open? This show is for education and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research, but you could use this show as a foundation. Let's get into the mindset with our mantra. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve the wealth that I'm building for me and my family. Riches and freedom, they come to our hands. I am the master of all I command. My learning is limitless. My earnings are too. The more I discover, the more I can do. The stock market is a machine of design, and I have the power to make that wealth mine. I am capable. I am skilled. I am bold. Blessings on the journey as the vision unfolds. All right, now let's get into the data. Okay, so with the Strait of Hormuz peace deal, that pressure has been taken off of oil. Brent crude is trading near $80 lows. WTI as well. That matters because lower oil reduces immediate inflation pressure. Lower inflation pressure can help stabilize yields. When yields stabilize, growth stocks and technology can breathe. Now let's get into the indices. The NAS 100 hit a pre-market low at 12:45 a.m. of 30,484. And then at 4:15 a.m., it hit a pre-market high of 30,650. But in this last hour, it's definitely sold off, and it's a lot closer to pre-market lows right now. It's currently 30,518. Okay, so it definitely sold off from that pre-market high. Next up, we got SPX. It hit a pre-market low at 2:45 a.m. of 7,548. Hit a pre-market high at 5 a.m. of 7,563. It's currently in the middle at 7,555. All right, and the Dow Jones hit a pre-market low at 2:45 a.m. of 51,694. And it's currently pushing pre-market highs of 51,822. So the Dow Jones is performing a lot better than the NAS 100 and SPX here in the pre-market. We'll see what happens when the bell rings. All right, next we got the VIX. The VIX is trending to the downside. It's at 1606 right now. All right, let's get into Robert Greene's Daily Law for today. Title: Get others to play with the cards you deal. Today's law is about controlling the options. Robert Greene says that if you can get someone to walk into a cage on their own, they will sing that much more prettily. The lesson is that people love the feeling of choice, but many times the choices are already shaped before they make the decision. They think they are choosing freely, but the range of options has already been narrowed. That is a power move. You do not always need to force people. Sometimes you just create the choices. And if every option works in your favor, then no matter what they choose, you still control the outcome. That's like when the American government says there's freedom in America and there's no racism. That's a power move, a power play, using precise words. When it comes to long-term investing, this law is about understanding the structure of the market. The market often presents choices that feel simple: risk on or risk off, growth or value, buy the dip or wait, chase the breakout or stay patient. But the real skill is recognizing when the market is narrowing your choices through emotion. Fear can make you feel like you only have one choice. Greed can make you feel like you only have one choice. That is where discipline matters. Do not let the market deal your cards for you. Understand your plan before the emotion hits. For day traders, this law is about levels and scenarios. Before the open, you should already know your choices. If the price holds the gap, that is one scenario. If the price fades into the gap, that's another scenario. If the VIX spikes, that challenges the read. If QQQ holds strength, that changes the read. You do not need unlimited options. You need the right options. That is how you stay calm. That is how you avoid chasing. That is how you let the market come to you. Today, the cards are clear. Gap hold or gap fade. Continuation or rejection. Buyers defend or sellers take back control. Execution over emotion, process over prediction. Stay patient, stay disciplined. Now let's get on these charts, y'all. All right, let's start out with NVIDIA. Currently in the pre-market at 211.03 to the downside support. We got the pre-market low of 210.80, followed by, we got the gap right here. 209.12 is the top of the gap. Inside the gap, I do got a level at 209, followed by 208.34. The halfway point of the gap is 207.18. The bottom of the gap is 205.30. To the upside resistance, got the pre-market high of 212.44, followed by 212.71, 214.85, 218.65. Next, we got Google currently in the pre-market at 368.60 to the downside support. You got the pre-market low at 367.61, followed by 366.55, and then the top of the gap at 364.31. Inside the gap, I do have a level here at 363.80. The midway point of the gap is 362. The bottom of the gap is 359.65. To the upside resistance, we got 369.79, which is the pre-market high, followed by 372.10, 372.99, 373.25. If it breaks that, 378.55. Next, Apple currently in the pre-market at 295.81. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low at 394.82. We have a 30-minute level here at 294.65, followed by the top of the gap at 293.29. The midway point of the gap is 292.45. I do have a couple levels here inside the gap, 292.25, and then the previous week low of 291.70, which is right by the bottom of the gap. To the upside, we got the pre-market high at 297.32, followed by 297.78, and then $300.75. Next, we got Microsoft currently in the pre-market at 397.44. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low at 395.52, 394.30, 392.85, which is yesterday's low. And we got the bottom of the gap here at 391. Underneath the gap, we got 388. To the upside resistance, we got 400, we got 496. That's the pre-market high. We got 401.75, 405.05. Next, we got Amazon currently in the pre-market at 247.19. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low at 246.92, 244.73, and then the top of this gap here at 240.89. The midway point of the gap is 240. The bottom of the gap is also a 4-hour level at 239. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high at 248.60, followed by 250.45 and 256.35. Next, we got SpaceX currently in the pre-market at 202. To the downside support, we got 199.34, which is the pre-market low. We got 193, which is yesterday's high. Under 193, we got 181.65 and 173.35. For the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high at 214.50, and then it's all price discovery land after that. Next, we got TSM currently in the pre-market at 438.35. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low of 437.71, followed by the top of the gap at 435.16. I do have levels inside the gap: 433.95, 431.93, 430.90. The midway point of the gap is 429.56. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 442, followed by 442.58, 443.15, 448, and then the all-time high. Next, we got AVGO. It's currently in the gap. It's pushing pre-market lows right now. 391.80. Underneath that, we got 389.50. Halfway point of the gap is 389. Got a level 388.62. And then the bottom of the gap at 382.35. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high at 394.95, 396.20, 399.35, 407.85. Next, we got Tesla currently in the pre-market at 406.09. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low of 404, followed by 401.20, 398.75, 394.50. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 409.34, followed by 410.80, 413.90, 416, 418.50. Next, we got MU currently in the pre-market at 1,095. We got the pre-market low of 1,080, followed by 1,054, 1,051, which is the top of the gap. Middle of the gap is 1,031. The bottom of the gap is 1,012. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 1,133, and then it's all price discovery line after that. Next, we got Meta Platforms currently in the pre-market at 592. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low 591.30, followed by 584.70, 579.75, and then we got the top of the gap at 577.82, middle of the gap at 572.80, bottom of the gap at 568. For the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 595.83, 597.65, 601.27, 607.30. Next, we got Berkshire B currently in the pre-market at 495.47. Pre-market low is 494.03. Pre-market high is 495.82. I'm not giving y'all more levels because y'all don't care about Berkshire B. Next in line, we got Eli Lilly. Current price is pushing pre-market lows at 1129. Underneath that, we got 1123, followed by 1116, 1112, 1111. For the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 1132, 1137, 1148. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in. You know how we like to end the show with some Instagram motivation by Dr. George Frazier.
Chase excellence, never chase money. Why? Because money has an incredible way of finding excellence. Did you chase excellence and not money? Do you have the intellectual curiosity to learn everything you can about this incredible industry and master it? Become the smartest person in the room. Have you mastered it?
Thank y'all for tuning in. This is the $1 Trillion Tickers broadcast. I am your host, Matt Riches. Shout out to everybody on YouTube Live. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom.